At dinner, my brother's wife raised her glass. To family, the real kind. Everyone laughed and looked at me. When the waiter arrived with the $3,650 bill, I slid it back and said, "Try the card under her name, she made the reservation." Her smile vanished. Then the manager came back with the receipt. I always knew my brother would marry someone insufferable. But I underestimated just how bold, smug, and performatively perfect she could be. Samantha came into our family like a brand new centerpiece no one asked for, and everyone suddenly decided was the best thing in the house. She's the type who posts filtered selfies after SoulCycle, tags every vacation photo with #GrinNoPlayLater, and talks about her skincare routine like it's a religious experience. And my parents? They ate it up. Especially my mom. The same mom who once gave me the silent treatment for forgetting to water her plants while I was recovering from strep. Now Samantha, she could burn down the garden and my mom would find a way to blame the sun. She makes more money than anyone in the family, well, almost anyone. I pull in a little more, but I don't broadcast it. Samantha makes sure everyone knows she's successful. She once casually mentioned her salary over brunch like she was reciting the weather. My brother, meanwhile, hasn't had a job in 8 months. He says he's waiting for the right role, which apparently means spending most mornings in sweatpants on the couch watching sports commentary videos on YouTube. So when I offered to organize a dinner for our parents' 35th anniversary, I said I'd take care of everything. I meant the planning in the bill. A nice gift from me to them. The kind of thing you do when you're grateful and tired of being underestimated. I chose a rooftop restaurant with a view of the skyline, a set menu that included some outrageously priced truffle something or other, and personalized wine pairings. I wanted it to be perfect. It actually was perfect, right up until Samantha clinked her glass. She stood slowly, all dramatic, held her flute of champagne like she was about to deliver a TED Talk. To family, the real kind. Everyone laughed. My mom touched her heart. My dad gave one of those proud little nods. Even my brother smirked. But the worst part was what happened next. They all turned to look at me. Like I was the punchline. Like we all silently agreed who the fake family member was. I didn't react. Just smiled and sipped my wine. But I'd had enough. When the waiter brought the bill in a little black folder, he handed it to me with a respectful tilt. I opened it. $3,650. I paused for half a second, then pushed it slowly across the table toward Samantha. Try the card under her name. She made the reservation. She blinked. Laughed like I was joking. I didn't blink. She reached for her purse, trying to keep that confident glow going. But it cracked. Just a little. She pulled out her Amex and handed it to the waiter. My brother glanced at me, confused. My mom looked down at her napkin. No one said anything. 5 minutes later, the manager returned. He smiled and thanked her for the payment, handed her the receipt and walked off. Samantha signed it quietly. No one made a toast after that. We left the restaurant in awkward silence. My dad gave me a pat on the shoulder like I'd just survived something. My mom told Samantha the dessert was divine. Samantha didn't say much. Her husband, my brother, kept looking at her like he wasn't sure if he should be mad or just impressed that she didn't scream in the middle of the dining room. But I wasn't done. Not by a long shot. Because what none of them knew was that I had started documenting things. The late-night whispers, the not-so-accidental insults, the way Samantha had started borrowing things from my mom's room without asking. That night she thought losing a few $1,000s was the real blow. She had no idea what was coming next. After the dinner, the air at home changed. It wasn't dramatic. No shouting, no slamming doors. It was worse than that. Just tension in every corner. Quiet, awkward, impossible to ignore tension. The kind that makes you rethink walking into the kitchen if someone's already in there. We all live under one roof. That wasn't supposed to be permanent, but here we are. My brother and Samantha moved in while they were renovating their condo. That was over a year ago. Renovations ended 4 months ago. Their excuse now? Something vague about the housing market and waiting for the right time. Translation. Samantha's making money, my brother isn't, and free rent is too good to leave behind. They've completely taken over. Samantha especially. She acts like the house is hers. She doesn't knock anymore. Not on bedroom doors. Not on the bathroom. Not even on the one place in the house that's supposed to be private. My mom's room. A few days after the dinner, she barged in while I was working from home and just stood there like she was expecting me to ask her how she was doing. I didn't. She leaned against the doorframe and said there'd been some weird charge on her card. Didn't even mention the dinner bill, but the implication was clear. I just raised an eyebrow and went back to my laptop. After a long pause, she left. The next day, I overheard her telling my mom she thought I might be going through something. My mom told me later that Samantha was concerned. Said she noticed how I'd been acting out. Right. I spend $3,650 on their anniversary, and I'm the unstable one. Then there was the scarf. My grandmother left my mom this ivory silk scarf, embroidered with these tiny gold vines. I've only ever seen her take it out on special occasions, and even then she barely touches it. One afternoon I walk into the living room and see Samantha on the couch, wearing it like it came from a clearance rack, just casually draped over her shoulder while she scrolled through her phone. I asked where she got it. She said she found it in a drawer or something. Later I asked my mom if she lent it to her. She looked confused at first, then said maybe she did, but I could tell she wasn't sure. That's the thing. Samantha gets in people's heads. She doesn't just manipulate. She rewrites the narrative until people aren't sure if they offered or she just took. That same week, my brother cornered me by the laundry room and asked if I was proud of making his wife cry. I asked if he was proud of living rent-free while his wife swiped jewelry from our mom. He told me to stop being dramatic. Then as he walked away, he casually asked if I could pay the Wi-Fi again this month. I almost laughed in his face. That's when I decided I was done paying for anything that didn't directly involve me. No more groceries, no more household utilities, no more splitting streaming subscriptions. If Samantha was the real family like she said in her little toast, she could handle the real responsibilities. I printed out a list of every bill I'd covered for the past 6 months. Internet, electricity, shared car insurance, Netflix, the water delivery service my mom insisted on, and taped it to the fridge under a smiley face magnet. At the bottom I wrote, "Effective immediately, all future expenses will be handled by Samantha." After all, she's officially part of the family. She didn't say a word to me. Just ripped it off the fridge, folded it in half and shoved it into the trash. That was 3 days ago. Since then she's been quieter, but not in a defeated way. More like she's waiting. Planning. And I've been watching. Because she's careful when she thinks people are looking. But I know what I saw last night. Just after midnight I was wide awake. The kind of awake where you stare at the ceiling and feel like your brain is turning in slow circles, replaying conversations, toasts, stares, everything. So I got up to grab a glass of water. I didn't turn on any lights. The hallway nightlight gives off enough glow, and I've walked those stairs for 20 years. But halfway down I heard it. A sound that stopped me cold. Not footsteps exactly. More like movement. Slow, careful movement. My parents' bedroom door was cracked open just slightly and someone was inside. I stood on the second-floor landing, hidden by the corner wall. I didn't say a word. Didn't move. Just listened. Then I saw her. Samantha stepped out of the room, quiet as a cat, holding something in her hand. Small, metallic. Not a phone. Something that caught the light. She wasn't wearing shoes, just socks, and she shut the door behind her as gently as you'd close the door to a nursery. Then disappeared back into the guest room she shares with my brother. I waited, motionless. Not because I was scared, but because I needed to be sure of what I saw. After a few minutes I went back to my room and sat there staring at the wall, fully awake, heartbeat steady. This wasn't paranoia. This wasn't misinterpreting things, like my mom likes to suggest when Samantha says something backhanded and I call her out. This was real. The next morning at breakfast, I watched Samantha make a smoothie while my mom sipped her coffee. Everything looked normal. My dad had already gone for his walk. My brother was asleep. Then mid-sentence my mom frowned a little and said she couldn't find her bracelet, the one from that trip to Italy. A delicate gold chain with tiny sapphires. She said she always keeps it in the same place, wrapped in a handkerchief in the top drawer. Samantha didn't even flinch. Said maybe it rolled behind the dresser. Then added that she once lost a ring for weeks and it turned up in a shoe. She laughed. My mom nodded. Then they went back to talking about flights to Seattle. I said nothing. Just watched her. That afternoon when the house was quiet again, I went into the upstairs bathroom. Samantha had left her makeup bag on the counter, unzipped. I don't know what I thought I'd find, but I opened it anyway. Tucked in the side pocket, under a handful of brushes and lipsticks, was a small bundle of white fabric. I pulled it out just enough to see the edge of gold chain. My mom's bracelet. I stood there in silence for a moment, looking at it like it was something radioactive. I didn't touch it again. Just slid it back, zipped the bag up and walked out. I had every right to storm downstairs and drag her through it. But I knew how that would play out. I'd be accused of snooping, violating privacy, stirring the pot again. They'd say she didn't steal it. That she probably borrowed it and forgot. My mom would say it wasn't a big deal. My brother would jump in, say I was just upset about the dinner. Then Samantha would look at me with that calm little smile and let them defend her. So I gave her a chance. I wrote a note. No name. No threats. Just, "You have until tonight to return what doesn't belong to you. Quietly. Or I'll speak up." I slipped it under their bedroom door before leaving for work. When I got home, the house smelled like rosemary chicken. Samantha was in the kitchen helping my mom set the table. She smiled at me like she'd been waiting. like nothing had happened. I went upstairs, heart pounding, and checked the drawer in my mom's room. Still empty. She didn't return it. Didn't flinch. No apology. No explanation. That night I went to bed with a decision made. I wasn't going to wait for them to believe me. I wasn't going to wait for Samantha to mess up. I was going to make this very, very real for her. He wanted to play this like a game. So I was going to remind her what happens when you cross someone who's been underestimated for too long. And she had no idea what I was about to do next. I wasn't sleeping anymore. Not because of guilt. I'd done nothing wrong. But because Samantha was too calm. Too smug. She walked around the house humming to herself like she'd just received a promotion instead of being caught sneaking jewelry out of my mom's drawer. I couldn't eat, couldn't concentrate at work. All I could think about was that night I saw her, slipping out of their bedroom with the bracelet in her hand. I needed it to be over. I needed my parents to finally see what she really was. So I waited for Sunday family dinner. Everyone was there. My dad at the head of the table, already sipping his red wine. My mom had just pulled the lasagna out of the oven, and my brother, freshly shaved for the first time in a week, was actually helping set the table. Samantha showed up wearing a soft blue sweater and my mom's pearl earrings. Not similar. The earrings. That's when I knew. She wasn't just careless, she was daring me. So I came downstairs with the black velvet box. I placed it on the table, opened it, and said nothing. Inside was the bracelet. My mom froze mid-step. Her face changed instantly, the kind of look only someone who recognizes something important can make. She walked over, picked it up, and held it like it might disappear. Said she thought it had been gone forever. My dad looked up from his plate. My brother frowned. But Samantha didn't react at all. Just sipped her water. I told them exactly where I found it. Upstairs in the bathroom inside her makeup bag. My brother muttered that I shouldn't have been snooping. Samantha finally looked up. Said she knew something like this was coming. Said she'd felt watched all week. Then she accused me of planting it. Right there at the table she said she'd seen me upstairs near their room earlier in the week. Said she remembered because I never go upstairs. She said the photo I took of it, which I printed out and placed next to the box, was convenient. Too convenient. And then came the dagger. She looked straight at my parents and said maybe this wasn't about the bracelet at all. Maybe I was acting out because I was jealous. Of what, I asked. He smiled and said, my life. Your brother. My job. My place in this family. I waited for someone to say something. My dad just stared at his glass. My mom looked like she was trying to do math in her head. Then my brother stood up and said, we're done here. He took the box and photo off the table and threw them in the trash. Said he was tired of the drama. That I'd ruined dinner. Samantha followed him out of the room, touching his arm like she was soothing a dog after fireworks. I sat there. My mom cleared plates in silence. She didn't look at me. No one did. Until 20 minutes later. She came back into the dining room with something in her hand, a small red box I'd never seen before. She opened it slowly. Inside was the same bracelet. Or what I thought was the same bracelet. She explained that after losing the original years ago, my dad surprised her with a replacement. He never told me. The one Samantha took, the one I found, wasn't the real one. It was a backup. And suddenly, everything I'd said, everything I'd built, collapsed. My mom didn't accuse me, but she didn't defend me either. My dad stayed seated, chewing silently like it was too late for opinions. And the worst part? Samantha came back downstairs minutes later with a bottle of wine and asked if anyone wanted another glass. Like nothing had ever happened. That night I lay in bed staring at the ceiling again. Not because I was defeated, but because I realized something important. She wasn't just manipulative. She was careful. She was a strategist. And she had gotten ahead of me. Or maybe she'd been ahead this whole time. But what Samantha didn't know, and what no one else had figured out, was that I had already copied the contents of her work laptop weeks ago when she left it unlocked on the dining table. Not the boring emails. The personal folder. The receipts. The side project she never mentioned to my brother. The one with thousands of dollars flowing into a PayPal account under a different name. This wasn't over. And if she thought she had me cornered, she was about to find out just how wrong she was. She thought she buried me at that dinner. The moment my mom opened the red box and pulled out the original bracelet, Samantha smiled like the war was over. That smug, quiet kind of smile that makes you want to burn something to the ground. She walked around the house like she'd won a medal. She even started calling my mom Mama, again, just like she did when she first moved in, when everyone still thought she was charming. My brother kept bringing up random news about the job market, like the embarrassment from Sunday had just melted into thin air. Like none of it happened. But I hadn't forgotten. Not what I saw that night. Not the look in her eyes when she realized the bracelet in her makeup bag wasn't supposed to be there. She was guilty. I knew it. And the only reason I looked like the bad guy now was because I didn't have the right evidence. Until I remembered I had something better. About 3 weeks before all this, she'd left her laptop open at the dining table while she ran upstairs to take a call. I was walking past and caught a glimpse of a folder labeled, Consulting Clients. She'd never mentioned consulting. She always said she was too busy with work to even take weekends off. So I sat down, plugged in a flash drive and copied the entire folder. I didn't even open it right away. I just felt something was off, and I wanted insurance. Now I had it. That folder was a goldmine. Hidden under layers of renamed PDFs and Excel sheets were email threads, payment receipts and private messages. She was working under a different name, contracting with outside companies, including one that happened to be a direct competitor of the firm she worked for. She'd made thousands. Tax-free. Hidden. And one document was labeled Exit Plan. A personal note where she outlined her goals for the next 12 months. Sell the condo. Drain the shared accounts. Save up 6 figures. Leave the house. Take only what she needs, including the car. Possibly the dog. My brother was never mentioned by name. He was listed under one phrase, non-contributing. That was all I needed. I waited until the house was mostly empty. My brother went to meet a friend, my parents were at some community theater fundraiser, and Samantha was in the kitchen reheating soup. I came in, placed a few papers on the table and didn't say anything. She picked them up, glanced through them and kept that same calm look for exactly 12 seconds. Then she folded them slowly and asked where I got them. I told her it didn't matter. That the point was I had everything. Every document. Every transaction. Every lie. She said none of it proved anything. I said I also had the client contact lists. One email from her using her real name. I had it all backed up in 3 different locations. Plus an email ready to send to both her company's HR department and my parents. She was quiet. That's when I told her exactly what I wanted. I wanted her to leave. Quietly. Within a week. I told her I wouldn't breathe a word about any of it. Not to her boss, not to my brother, not to our parents. If she walked away without trying to spin it. She said nothing. Just walked out of the room. Next morning she was gone. My mom said Samantha had to go see her cousin in Phoenix for a week. My brother didn't even ask for details. Everyone just went along with it. Like her vanishing overnight was normal. Like she didn't just evaporate from the house with barely a note. For 5 days it was quiet. Calm. The air felt breathable again. Then I came home from work on Friday and found her sitting in the living room, legs crossed, sipping tea. No bags. No explanation. She looked up, smiled like she hadn't just ghosted the house and said, "We should talk." I didn't sit down. She pulled out a flash drive from her purse and placed it on the coffee table. Then she said, "Next time you steal someone's files, make sure your own folder isn't sitting right next to it." My stomach dropped. She said she'd made a copy of my drive. Somehow. Somewhere. She said she'd read everything. My notes, private documents, even parts of my journal I kept in an encrypted folder. I don't know when she did it. I don't even know how. But she had it. And then she leaned in and said something that made my skin crawl. "You were never the threat, Paige. Just the practice run." Then she walked upstairs, humming to herself. And I stood there, realizing this had never been about who could prove what. It was about who could keep control the longest. She'd won the battle. But now. I was done playing by the rules. I didn't pack in a rage. I packed like someone finally cutting the last thread. Quiet. Careful. Without music or crying or dramatic calls. The only sound was the zipper on my suitcase and the faint whir of the ceiling fan. There was nothing left to fight for in that house. Not with Samantha sleeping under the same roof. Not with my parents choosing silence. Not with my brother calling me selfish while spending his 3rd month pretending to job hunt in pajama pants. And certainly not when the woman who smirked while wearing my mother's pearls now also held pieces of my life on a flash drive like a threat she hadn't even had to use yet. I'd already signed the lease on a tiny 1-bedroom apartment across town. No natural light, no dishwasher, and the only view was the back of a dry cleaner's. But the silence was mine. No one humming in the hallway. No fake apologies over dinner. No stolen heirlooms or whispered lies behind closed doors. 3 days after I moved in, I sent a single email. Not to Samantha. To the whole house. I kept it short and professional, like I was closing an account. No emotion, no pettiness, just bullet points. Effective immediately, I will no longer be responsible for utilities or household expenses. The following bills have been transferred or cancelled. Wi-Fi, shared car insurance, electric, Hulu, Amazon Prime. Please update payment methods accordingly. At the bottom, I attached the final receipts just in case anyone wanted to claim I was being unfair. And then, right above my signature, I added one line. If Samantha's the real family now, let her carry the weight. The response came exactly 12 minutes later. Not from my mom. Not from my brother. From Samantha. One sentence. Wow. So this is who you really are. No greeting. No sign off. I didn't reply. I just blocked the number and moved on. But the thing about removing yourself from a toxic house is, you don't really leave it right away. 4 days I kept expecting to hear my mom's knock on my door. Or my brother asking to borrow my charger. Or Samantha's voice in the hallway on speakerphone, always performing for someone. That I heard nothing. Until 2 weeks later. My dad called. He never calls. I let it go to voicemail, then sat on the floor with my back to the wall, staring at the phone like it might explode. The message was short. He asked if I could come by and bring the folder of tax documents he needed. Didn't mention anything else. Not even a, "How are you?" I didn't want to go. But I did. When I walked in, the house felt different. Tense. Like something had cracked and no one was admitting it. The lights were dimmer, the hallway cluttered. A stack of unpaid bills sat half hidden under the fruit bowl in the kitchen. I handed my dad the folder. He didn't say much. Just thanked me and turned back toward the TV like I wasn't standing there. Then I heard shouting. From upstairs. My mom. Then Samantha. I couldn't make out every word, but the ones I did were sharp. You said you'd cover it. You never said it was my responsibility. Paige was right. That one stopped me cold. I stood at the base of the stairs. I didn't go up. I didn't say anything. I just listened. Samantha's voice cracked mid-sentence. She was yelling about respect. About how no one appreciated what she sacrificed. My mom kept trying to calm her, but it only made it worse. Then I heard something slam, maybe a door, maybe a drawer, and silence followed. I stepped back slowly and left the house without saying another word. The next morning my mom called. Twice. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. Her voice was soft. Tired. She asked if I could come by again, not to bring anything, just to talk. Said she missed me. Then she said something I didn't expect to hear. I think we made a mistake. I replayed that line a few times. That same day, I saw a post on the community Facebook group. Samantha listing the condo she and my brother had never moved back into. It was finally up for sale. She was leaving. But not on her own terms. She had nowhere else to go. And that house. It wasn't hers anymore. Not because they chose me. But because I chose to leave, and took everything she couldn't fake with me. Peace. Privacy. Self-respect. The things she could never control. And this time I wasn't looking back.